Hello guys, welcome back. So today we'll understand the project structure. So once the Angular app has been created, there are certain files or folders which are generated automatically. For example, when we created this Hello World app, there were few files and folders which are already generated. So we'll see one by one what are they. So the first thing what we are going to see is node modules. It has all the node packages that are required for an Angular application. So whenever you run the npm install, this node module will download all the Angular packages that are required for an Angular application. And also, when you're sharing this Hello World app to someone, this node modules folder will not be present by default. So when they import it, they need to run npm install so that they will get this node modules folder. So even when you download any Angular application, you have to run npm install explicitly in order to get this node modules folder. Next is the src. Src basically has your source files and configuration files. You can see src over here. It has source files, all the components, source files and everything will be present here. Then we have the editor config. Editor config is basically settings. You can specify the settings for your Visual Studio text editor config. So the style, size and etc. you can related to your editor can be configured here. Next is your git ignore. Git ignore has list of files or folders which are excluded from the git version control system. So whenever you are pushing your code to git, if you are not interested in pushing any of the files or folders to the git, you can ignore it by configuring it in this file, git ignore file. So for example, we don't need node modules folder, so we have excluded it from committing it. Next is the tsconfig.json. This file contains configuration settings for your TypeScript compiler. So whatever configuration you have to do for your TypeScript compiler can be configured here. And next you have the tsconfig app.json. tsconfig app.json contains additional configuration options for your TypeScript compiler related to your code. Like for example, if you want to specify the location of your source code, you can specify it, or location of your def files and where the compiled file should be written. All these things can be configured in tsconfig app.json. And similarly, all the configuration settings or locations of unit tests can be specified in tsconfig spec.json. This is like configuration file for your unit tests. And then we have main.ts. It is the starting point of our Angular application. So this is very important. And as you know, source folder contains your source code. Assets. In source we have assets folder which contains static data. Like you have assets folder here under source. Under source you have assets folder. Here you can have your static data like images and so on. And then you have the index.html. So this is the first file, HTML file, which is sent to the browser and will be loaded. And then we have the styles.css, where you apply this global CSS for your Angular application. Index.html, styles.css. Whatever you write in this styles.css gets applied globally. And even at the component level, you will have its own HTML and CSS that we'll talk about later. So these are the main HTML and CSS files. Next we have readme.md for documentation and dist folder. So whenever you run the ng build, this dist folder gets created. So this has all the compiled code which uh, packaged in it. So this is basically the output directory. When we run ngbuild, it compiles the code and packages it. And the next important things we have is package.json, package.lock.json, and angular.json. So we have package.json, package.lock.json, and angular.json. These three files I'll discuss it about in detail later. For now, I hope you have understood about these files. So that is it. Thank you.